You wasn't around when you see the movie, the one they played in Denzel Washington with the crooked cop, where they made that movie
Training
film
day.
Training Day. But before Training Day, you had Lennox police on the west side up in the hundreds where they had a police named Lucci. And Lucci and these Italian polices, white polices, real racial back in the day, it's real dark, no street lights. And it's back in the day. You could be walking down the alley and they'll cut off them alleys and turn them lights on. And they used to carry little black gloves in their back pocket. And they'll put them in your hair and they told them to put them up. 2 men in and 1 man leave. I've seen Tookie get into a fight back there with police.
You seen
I've,
Tookie get into a fight with the police? What
with
all,
Lucci.
can you talk about that a little bit?
They were in the alley where they had cut the lights off, and the police would call you out for a fade. Yeah,
Mm.
as they say nowadays.
And Tookie
you,
goes back there.
yeah, in fact, Tookie, if you look at Vlad TV and Reggie Wright Sr., Reggie Wright tell the story of when Tookie hit Reggie Wright Sr., daddy, and put him in the hospital at Martin Luther King, Killer King, when it first come out in the early 70s, when he just started moving to Compton. You'll hear the story of where Tookie hit and injured Reggie Wright and them family. And the only reason I say this, not out of shaming or nothing, which a lot of people try to do, but because Mr. Wright, who we have a great conversation against, he know the history, he told us this. While me, Reggie Wright, Mob B, we all were having a conversation, because every morning, usually the things that go on the internet. So we're going to have to try to start creating a dialogue to where we're in a more positive manner, to where we're trying to uplift somebody as opposed to stepping on somebody where you trying to act like you the king shit of Turd Island once again, where you part and running the plantation, when we're trying to do this as a cohesive nation, to where we're trying to give back. So it's a contradictory in what's going on, and they're going to have to make a choice. Y'all going to ride with these guys that have all the problems, where all they talk about is the problems, but we never hear nobody talking about the solutions. All we hear is promises and plans, like it's politics, to where you got guys out here all across America, to where we're networking, trying to do it together. But you won't hear us talking about it or bragging it, because this is not something that you sit up here and brag about a game of killing where you make a mistake and your life get killed. So, you know, we just think that you have this platform, particularly the blacks. You have a platform to where people are listening to you. Now you don't got their attention. Change the game and talk about something positive. Or throw, as you say, an alley-oop pass, because you reach your peak. You can't come to the streets and make a difference. Nobody outside of California gonna come to California and make a difference. And nobody from California are trying to make a difference. Y'all come to California. We hear people talking about, oh, we need to boycott California. That's impossible. You got too many things to do in California. Ain't nobody gonna be coming to Fort Worth. None of those places, not there's nothing wrong with it, but what's the attraction? Nothing. And people with the lure of California, they're going to be walking on the Hollywood Star looking at Nipsey Hussle, where everybody, oh, I want to kill off his character. But then you sit and talk about where you hurting his parents. They playing both sides of the fence. Then you say, just a character. Oh, everybody's a character. The world is the stage and everybody on here is an actor. So do that give me a cue if I want to act to be a character where I say I'm finna come kill your ass? Do I get a pass because I'm only in character? Or when I hear somebody say, fuck Martin Luther King. But how many of you ever walked with Claretta Scott King? I have. Google Dorothy Hyatt, the first woman to own black property on Pennsylvania Avenue. I have. Kathy Hughes, TV One, the biggest mogul in the entertainment as far as newscasting and broadcasting. I had a show with her. But you careless listeners don't do your research. A lot of you youngsters think Ice-T ain't nothing but a actor. You ain't knowed he rapped in the game because you try to speak on eras that where we see this shit in our rear view. You can't speak on our era. All you can do is speculate. When you hear it from us, take it. We ain't up here to brag. We up here to tell you the things we went to. I did 30-some years in prison. I wouldn't want to see nobody go through that. The hurt that you give to your mother, the lost lives. But it is what it is. So what we gonna do to get back now? That's where we stand. That's what I died for.
Well, I believe earlier you had mentioned Credible Messenger. What can you talk about that a little bit?
Credible Messenger is a program that started across the United States in New York, where it's a certain criteria to meet it. Very few can get in this club. You're talking about Antonio Testra from the Luciano Gambino crime family. His daddy is a Gemini twin murderer, one of the most prolific hitmen with the Luciano Gambino crime family. He got 51 murders he's been convicted of. You got King Tone, leader of the Latin Kings, New York chapter back in the day. You got Fred Hampton Jr., Chairman Fred Hampton, Triple Seed, Chicago, Illinois. Father was assassinated. You got Ayatollah Marvin, Pyru. You got Melvin Farmer, Los Angeles Crip. You got Sean Stevenson, Philly Black Mob, Freeway Rick's crimey. You got Reginald Washington out of San Diego that worked with Sal and the departments down there. You got Ruben Saldano that works out of Florida, former the gang leader. You got Jeff Fort, Larry Hoover family out of Chicago that are credible messengers. You got credible messengers out of Atlanta, but we're the first ones across west of the Mississippi to be involved and honored. We deal in restorative justice and redefine the community with innovative and updated ideas. For instance, King Tone and the director of Credible Messengers, they started a program where a lot of people didn't know in Washington, D.C., when you're a youth, because it's a federal crime, you would get shipped out at $500,000 a head to other states. And we felt that was the equivalent of treating children like chattel and animal. So they went and built a juvenile facility between Washington, D.C. and Prince George County, Maryland, to where now the juveniles aren't being shipped at $5,000, $100,000 a head, are being housed close to their home, and they're not being sentenced where they're punished, but they're being allowed to be rehabilitated. We also work with the United States Army and John Franks, former Green Beret, and Secret Service, to where they host mixed martial arts between the age of 18. Ayatollah Marvin, Ruben Saldano from Florida, and myself are the only ones that's ever been allowed with a record to be on the board with them. We also got a program that we starting actually tonight, a curriculum for emancipated children called SBV, Saving the Black Village, that's ran by 3 pastors, women, where I'm the only one with a record on the board for that, where we got that curriculum going. We got Stop the Violence, where we're doing a documentary with Sean Stevenson, where we feel that we want the gloves ups and gun downs. We feel that it's more important to have a nail gun and a nail and a paycheck as opposed to a handgun and a case.